Barriers are broken. This is where records are set. This is the edge of what we're capable of. Every milestone in aerospace history has seen these skies. This is where we stood on the shoulders of giants and saw the future. To fly faster, longer, and safer. To make our warriors stronger and our enemies tremble. Our mission is test. Our goal is to find the unknown. And we go further. We set the standard. We are innovators. We will not accept the status quo. The warfighter depends on us to be agile, responsive, and accurate. Our success is theirs. Before aircraft leave the ground, before weapons find their mark, there is test. A community of professionals chasing excellence in all we do. Every member of our team serves. Each play a part in accomplishing this test mission. We brought the F-35 to operational capability. We modernized the fleet to fly for years to come. We tested radar systems to precision. We made airdrops more efficient, parachutes more dependable, airmen safer. Test pilots are trained here. Airframes are developed here. Autonomous flight is a reality. Every day we achieve more than yesterday. Flight test is the first step. The mission expands and our dynamics grow. The future is on its way at hypersonic speed. Our work is never finished. The sky was the limit, but not anymore. We are the 412th Test Wing. This is where barriers are broken. This is where records are set. This is the edge of what we're capable of. Every milestone in aerospace history has seen these skies. This is where we stood on the shoulders of giants and saw the future. To fly faster, longer, and safer. To make our warriors stronger and our enemies tremble. Our mission is test. Our goal is to find the unknown. And we go further. We set the standard. We are innovators. We will not accept the status quo. The warfighter depends on us to be agile, responsive, and accurate. Our success is theirs. Before aircraft leave the ground, before weapons find their mark, there is TESS. A community of professionals chasing excellence in all we do. Every member of our team serves. Each play a part in accomplishing this test mission. We brought the F-35 to operational capability. We modernized the fleet to fly for years to come. We tested radar systems to precision. We made airdrops more efficient, parachutes more dependable, airmen safer. Test pilots are trained here. Airframes are developed here. Autonomous flight is a reality. Every day we achieve more than yesterday. Flight test is the first step. The mission expands and our dynamics grow. The future is on its way at hypersonic speed. Our work is never finished. The sky was the limit, but not anymore. We are the 412th Test Wing.
Hi, happy Friday, everybody. Brigadier General Matt Heidger here with Chief Master Sergeant D. Ward Swanigan, broadcasting you live from the PA studios here at the Center of the Aerospace Testing Universe. 2 weeks in a row, Chief. That hasn't happened in a long time for us.
Right.
That's fantastic. We got a solid lineup, more than an hour's worth of material, but Chief and I are going to do our best to keep it right inside the 60 minutes mark. Chief, a big 2 days, right, on things we've been talking about and things we've been hey, maybe we can pull this off, and so on and so forth. And I got we have two big announcements to make today. So the first one I'll make is that literally, as we went live today, and I had utilized the Outlook delayed delivery email, and I sent an email to the wing, which should now have been, everybody's reading it because they're a minute into it, announcing that we are standing up a new group equivalent job. That job will be titled the 412 Test Wing Director of Staff, also be the Director of the 412 Test Wing Weak Staff Agencies, and also the Chief of Staff of the 412 Test Wing A Staff. Now that's a lot of different titles. The bottom line is going to be one person, and the intent of this job is a NH4 equivalent, group commander equivalent, is to offload things from primarily the vice position, in that the vice, as you well know better than I do, D, he is both the vice commander, but he's also been the acting group equivalent director of WSA. So that offload from his time, his bandwidth, and a little bit of yours will be super valuable to Colonel Kaspers and everybody that has that position going forward. So that person will be, well, I don't know if we're going to call him a cause as the chief of staff, or we're going to call that position a DS, but group commander equivalent, WSA is where they'll primarily do most of their work. The intent behind the job is not just to offload tasks from the vice, a little bit from the commander, a little bit from the tech director, and some from the chief. The intent is to expedite command and control and communication and speed it all up as well. And when we have somebody that can focus on that and work behind the scenes as a leader, to let me and Dee stay out literally in front of the camera or out in public, and where appropriate, Colonel Kaspers to back us up, we'll be a much more efficient and effective team as the team of 11 group commanders and directors plus the 412 Test Wing top 5. Huge deal. So that's an email that literally hit the street. It has the blessing, the organizational change clearly had the blessing from my boss. In fact, Mr. Casing and Mr. Eisenstadt at Air Force Test Center said, "What took you so long?" Right, so they're pretty excited about having a DS that they can coordinate with. And General Durteen this morning literally said, we need to start putting the communication conduits and nodes into our organizations so that when the Air Force goes to the A-staff model at every echelon, we have a communication place and node, and that's one of the things that this job is gonna lead and stand up in the Chief of Staff role. So that's the position. Exciting, I'm thrilled. But even more exciting, as those of you that have already read the email, I have directed and he has accepted the management reassignment of Mr. Mike Silos into that position. Yes. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited. And Mike, thank you for taking on this opportunity. I've watched him build a test management group for the last 3-4 years. It was certainly operating just fine when he got it, but he's taken it to a new level. It is in a place now where he can hand it off and that person can take it another level or just keep his excellence going, and he's now got another huge project here that he's agreed to take on. I literally could not think of a better guy to step up to this challenge. He's the right personality, the right time. He's a 2 ears, 2 eyes, 1 mouth person. He's a E.F. Hutton. For those of you that are old enough to remember, though, when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. That's Mike Silos as well. Does great work. He does work. He doesn't just talk about it. He actually gets things done, and I think it's just a tremendous opportunity for that job with those duties and that person in the job, and we're all excited. So Mike, congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah, and then Mike hopefully has had time to break that to his TMGS team to let him know he's leaving effective 4 June. So it's going to happen fast. If he can get up into the front office, the wing front office faster, he will. He's got to figure out what his backfill looks like, and then we will go in a speed of deliberate to compete his group commander equivalent position at TMG for the next NH4 group commander in the wing. So that's one big exciting announcement. The other one, let's see, what was it? It rhymed with SSR. Chief, I'll let you dance on that, and then everybody can listen for Colonel Brown shouting from the rooftops over maintenance group. So
the long-awaited SSR selective salary rate, is it
specialized
salary rate for the maintenance group? It's been a long time coming. That's been underway probably since I've been in the seat, and to see that finally make it across the finish line is a huge win. So
yeah, gigantic. We finally got through all the wickets, and it isn't just within the Air Force, it's within the Department of Defense and also the Office of Personnel Management. So it was the last domino to fall, the last shoe to fall, whatever your analogy is, was at OPM, and that fell earlier this week. I got notification via email on Wednesday, and we expect for that to cut in, starting with the pay period that I think starts on the 23rd, like 2 days, right? But and it should happen automatically. But for those that are applicable, we'll certainly retroactively do your pay to whatever the effective date ends up being. But I'm excited. It's now just implementation. It's no longer approvals, and that is a really big deal.
That's a big deal
for a huge chunk of airmen that happen to wear civilian clothes as their uniform in the maintenance group primarily. There are a couple other folks that meet that, but that's a big deal, folks, and that is no small lift for folks at the test center. No small folks for lifts from the maintenance group here. We had great support from the AFMC staff, so huge shout out to Tammy Lyons and AFMC A1, the acting A1 at AFMC, Major General Collie von Hoffman, huge supporter as well, Lieutenant General Schaefer, General Richardson, of course, and then some good work on the air staff as well, and a whole bunch of other folks that made that happen. So those are 2 huge announcements. Usually we're talking about this is what we're trying, or this is what we're thinking, or we get some bad news, and this is just the opposite Friday, and I'm super excited about that. So anyway, happy to make the announcement. Now, speaking of excitement and happy announcements, we have 3 guests with us in the studio today. So Chief, I'll let you start with our Warriors of the Week.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
So we have with us Airman Raymond Serpa from the Aircraft Metals Technology Shop, and we also have Mrs. April Alacar-Gote. So I think we need to let them tell us where they're from and maybe a little bit about their experience here at Edwards and whatever else they want to offer to get us started.
Senior Airman Raymond Serpa from Roxbury, New Jersey. I got to Edwards Air Force Base as my first duty station in August of 2020.
Nice.
And it's been a fairly good station. I've enjoyed most of it.
Good.
It's I'm not a big fan of the desert though.
No?
Gets a little hot for me.
I mean, coming from Jersey, that is a
total
extreme difference. So yeah, I could see that. And what brings you on as the Warrior of the Week this week?
For the annual awards, it was known as the Medallion Project around our squadron. 140 medals need to be created for all the winners of the annual awards.
Those were really sharp. You made those?
You laser cut the
water
wind
jet.
level annual awards.
Using
That's
water jet.
really
How
nice.
cool is that?
Wow.
It's a fun machine. It's nice to work on, a little loud. A little
They were
noisy.
nice and heavy. They were solid, no pun intended, but very nice work done.
They
there,
Brillo
so.
padded, got them all nice and shiny, and then heat treated them to give them a nice gold color.
Yeah.
That idea actually came from Richard Salamone of the weld shop. It was a good idea on his part.
Outstanding.
That's
Hey,
teamwork.
So this is totally totally off. Well, not totally off topic, but the lady sitting to your left helped me set up when Chief's predecessor was still here, and we can't call it an internship. We can call it a job shadowing, I think is the official term, with Desert High School students in your squadron,
Yes.
in the back shops.
Yes, sir.
You interfaced with any of those
I-
high-powered,
I-
high-speed folks?
I did. Actually, I was one of the people helping out last year. I helped out, I believe we had 6 to 8 last year when we had them. My supervisor, Sergeant Duenas, is currently doing that.
That's awesome.
Still with the high desert folks, and so is our sheet metal shop. A lot of them are still down there.
That's pretty cool. Did you imagine, or could you have imagined last year that how many years out of high school?
3.
Yeah, that you'd be instructing high school
sir.
students in the middle of the aerospace valley at the center of the aerospace
sir.
testing universe. What do they think? What do you think they took out of that last year, learning from you?
The machine can be fun. It's a little bit of a slow process though sometimes. They had to make some really big nuts and bolts, but it's a little slow process, but I believe they enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's cool. And so what did you get out of that learning, or what
Teaching-
learning did you get out of that teaching experience?
I don't think I'm ready to be a tech school instructor.
You got time.
Yes, sir.
You got time.
You need a few more reps, maybe?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
That's good.
You absolutely got time. I literally rode over here from Chief Rochello's retirement ceremony with your squadron director, Chief Master Sergeant retired Nate Dixon, and we are literally the topic was there's a new aircraft in the inventory that needs conformal fuel tanks on it. And so, hey Nate, what do you think your squadron can do? Said my boss, and Nate and Colonel Brad and I were talking about what's in the art of the possible. And he's like, well, I got some real great artisans in my unit, and he's talking about you and all the folks like you. We just got to have the bandwidth and the tools and understand what the tech order is. So he's setting you guys, continuing to set you guys up for success, and he's one of your biggest cheerleaders and fans,
Yes, sir.
and rightly deserved.
Yes, sir.
Cool. I'm glad you're here.
Appreciate it, sir.
Absolutely. So I'll tell it to everybody, but you guys both get to ask us questions, anything you want. Make them a doozy. All right. Welcome. Happy Friday.
Hi. My name is April Alacargote. I am with the Comm Squadron. I'm the key spouse. And we got here May 2019. So, yeah, been here a while. Yeah.
You're also a prior enlisted, right?
Right.
Defender?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, good. What brings you on as the Warrior of the Week?
I was actually working for the annual awards ceremony as well. I actually made a majority of the decorations and coordinated the setup.
That's awesome.
So you turned us into Las Vegas on the stage there for the ceremony?
Yeah.
Was that your theme idea, or did you just
No,
you just
actually,
turn the
I-
dream into the reality?
Yeah, pretty much. The latter.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So thank you for your service. I get told that a lot, but no joke. I appreciate it. Mill households are a real challenge and a real opportunity. Were you both on active duty at the same time?
No, actually, we met when I had joined the reserves.
Okay.
So I got out of active duty, joined the reserves, and then I met him, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So where
This isn't that bad.
where was your last base?
We were in Tampa, McDill.
Oh,
Okay.
very good.
Yeah.
So, and that's where you PCS from to here,
Yeah.
was from Tampa? Okay, so we're gonna ask the same question that we asked the guy from Jersey.
Yes, sir.
I'm from Idaho, so I'll never be able to do it right. Can you give us the,
I almost choked.
No, I can't do it either.
you can't do it not anymore?
Joyzy.
None.
Something
Joyzy.
along those lines.
Yeah.
No, I'm not good either.
Yeah, we need
We'll leave
somebody,
that alone.
we need somebody from New York to tell us how to say New Jersey properly. Anyway, so what do you think of the weather here thus far, and when did you get here?
Well, I'm from Bakersfield,
Okay, so you know.
So you're
or
kinda home.
Delano, Bakersfield, yeah. So I'm used to it, I guess.
How about your other half? Had he been here before?
Just for
Lives here?
visiting, and I don't think he likes it. He's from Kansas.
Okay.
Well, we got mountains, right?
Yeah.
And it's not nearly as cold, so sweet.
Right.
Well, I'm glad you're here, and again, that's a pretty awesome. That was an awesome event and a great ceremony for
Yeah.
a great cause. The medallions and then turn it into the decorations. It's always awesome to get to award such excellence, and that doesn't happen without a lot of behind-the-scenes work for you two and dozens of others.
I would like to know a little bit more about your role as a key spouse.
Heck
How
yeah.
is that going?
Pretty good, I guess.
Yeah.
You're good. One of the things that I'll tell you is that when you go back to the time, when the Air Force stood up an official, hey, we're going to have key spouses. It was kind of like a just go do it, and there was barely any guidance, and it was just go designate these people. My wife and I were both on active duty at the time, and so we kind of just said, well, you'll be my key spouse and I'll be yours, and we're good, right? Check, check. And so we completely underrun what it should have been and what it could have been. And her squadron did a lot better than mine. But later we find out what it has the potential to be. And I'm really passionate about that program. Mm-hmm. It's a commander's program. It's an individual, right? So not all key spouses. I can't just take I can take a senior airman and plug in another senior airman and plug in another senior airman as long as they got the right tech school and the right certifications, right?
Right.
That's not true for key spouses. Some of us as spouses, military spouses, are going to be better at other things than others. Some are more comfortable at other things than others. So it's a program, but it's a person, right? But in addition to that, I think the real underappreciated value was that it's communication. I know it seems crazy because I don't consider myself that ornery, but when I go into a unit, nobody talks to me. And Chief has a little bit better luck than I do, but still, when a chief walks into the unit, she doesn't get nearly the communication that someone like you, that people like you do. And so, taking information to the families, especially, and listening to the families, and then letting us know is such a huge value that we get out of all of you as key spouses. So,
Yes, sir.
thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you.
And then be demanding customers of the installation. We love that. Okay. You had time to think about your question for either or both of us. What you got?
Really?
I guess this could go for both of you. For the people down in Fab Flight and all around the base, are we ever going to see any more opportunities for deployments or any other experience opportunities? Because I know a lot of first-term airmen that have only been here and they want to see a little bit more. Will we ever see a little more opportunities like that?
So I will tell you, you said a word in that question that makes my day, and that word was opportunity, right? Or opportunities. And I could not agree with your assessment more. A lot of folks look at deployment as, I have to deploy, or a bad deal, or a negative. I think just the opposite. Now, I'm not in a rotation of on 6 months, off 6 months, and doing that for 6 or 8 years. So there is too much of a good thing. But you are exactly right, my friend. We are an expeditionary force, and even civilians have and can deploy. There's a little tab that it has the U.S. and a symbol on it when civilians are downrange that they wear on their OCPs. So I'm excited to hear you ask the question in that way. Yes is the answer. We are not going away from expeditionary. In fact, the Agile Combat Employment concept is literally even more expeditionary. Dee, what bases have you been downrange at?
Well, I sometimes get a lot of crap for where I've been, but I've been to Morón, Spain. I've been to Al Saleh as well as the United Arab Emirates.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, so my most recent deployment was at Bagram, and then prior to that I was at PSAB for a little while as my two, if you will, formal deployments. Bagram was a normal length. Interesting story at PSAB and why it got truncated, but my point is that the deployments that Chief just talked about where she went, and the deployment locations that I've been in, a lot of our generation knew were big forward operating locations. What your generation is going to get to do deployed is Agile Combat Employment, and that is going to be super dynamic, super interesting, super valuable. We're all multi-capable airmen. When you get into an environment, you get to demonstrate that. It's going to be phenomenal, and you're going to bring back a lot of learning. So that's a long preamble to the question, but the answer is absolutely. There's plenty of opportunity to deploy. When you are setting in your preferences for where you want to go next, if you're very interested in that, you need to be at a location that has that in their rotations, especially at junior ranks and in your career field. It's pretty rare we would take an individual or individual augmentee. It's not unprecedented, but it's rare. But lots of maintainers spend lots of times doing force augmentation downrange. So go to like 388th Fighter Wing at Hill. Guaranteed they're going to be going different places. If you want to do pointy nose stuff, if you want to do big airplane stuff. Bomber's probably not it, because those are Kona Space for the most part, although Bomber Task Forces move some, but lots of air mobility places will have hubs downrange as well. So yes, there's lots of opportunity. Raise your hand and say, I want to go. I really enjoyed my remote, and I really enjoyed my deployments, and I think it makes me a better, more rounded airman, and be able to communicate to the rest of our nation. Hey, we get people, no kidding, downrange. Like when I said, thank you for your service, people say that to me, I say, I'll also reflect that back to the folks that can't be with their families tonight. Yeah. So, yes, is the answer. It will be very limited here at Edwards. And that's okay, because we're fighting in place, and we do our wartime mission here. But you got lots of opportunity going forward.
Yes,
Chief,
sir.
anything you want to pile on?
No, sir, I think you nailed it. That pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I love the way you asked the question. What about you?
I'm good.
Okay. Happy Friday. What's your favorite color? It's orange.
Yellow.
Yes. All right. Okay, you two, I appreciate you being here. Thanks for being our Warriors of the Week, and thank you for doing what got you here on stage
right.
today. All right. It's April. What is the month of April? It's Candace Lang. Yes, Candace, our school liaison officer, and she is wearing the appropriate color on this Friday. As much as I like orange, Purple Up Month is it. So Candace, you want to talk about MOMC real quick and what we got left?
Yes, sir.
Not much, but a couple big events left.
Yes, sir. The Edwards community has been busy all month long. Celebrating, recognizing our children, our youth for their resilience, for their sacrifice and being part of a military family. So April is one of my favorite months of the year. And yes, today is Purple Up Day. So purple is the combined color of the armed services. So when you mix them all up, you mix a little red and some blue, you throw in a little armed green, what do you get? You get purple.
I think you get brown, but who am I? But yeah, that's at least the Easter eggs did that for us this year. But
Yes, sir.
yes, boy, I tell you, one of the things that I don't miss ABUs, but one of the things I do miss about ABUs is that you could wear Friday shirts.
Oh, yeah. The morale shirts.
Yeah, morale shirts. And maybe it was in April wearing purple shirts that made General Goldfein say no mas. But so today's Purple Up Day.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Every
And there's a
Friday.
couple other big events
Yes, sir.
next week.
Every Friday in April is Purple Up Day, right? So the entire community, include the child and youth programs, the schools. I mean, everyone has done so much to recognize and honor our students. I truly appreciate the leadership and all the parents that braved the cold on April 3rd to come out and welcome the students at school. But today, we have at the youth center, the teen center, the youth center is the family dodgeball tournament this evening. So that's happening at the youth center, so come on out. It should be a great time. And also on the 27th, next Thursday night is Night Lights Out Flag Football, our youth sports program. And that's open to all ages 9 to 17, 5 to 7 at Wings Field. And April the 28th is Operation Megaphone Lock-In from 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. So that's for teens 13 to 18 years of age, and that is at our youth center. And the Force Support Squadron is going to finish it all up, close it all up with a great celebration on the 28th. The Month of the Military Child celebration at the Mayfield Community Park from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. That is going to be a great time for all. We will have a petting zoo, we'll have pony rides, bounce houses, face painting, food trucks, and more. So please come on out and wear your purple. That's next Friday, April the 28th.
So Candace, so the May Road Community Park, that's the area kind of between the Club Muroc and down to the Mojave Sky Community Center for those of you that live or want to just show up in the housing area there on next Friday the 28th. A couple other related events there that I hope we have slides for. If not, Candace and I can talk about it. But I see a Mickey Mouse one here. Do you guys have that?
There
you
it
go.
is. There it is. Yes, sir. The Base Exchange.
That's today, right?
That is today. It's going on right now till 5 o'clock, so come on down to the Base Exchange. There's a Mickey Mouse photo opportunity, photo booth opportunity, and the Base Exchange has got like a family events where they have Play-Doh, all kinds of, like a gaming tournament. They have great things going on, so if you're not doing anything right now, hurry on down.
FSS always loads us with lots of charts and pretty pictures. If you got them, go ahead and give the visual tease there. Happening this afternoon as well. Gaming events and Play-Doh kitchen creation sculpt event.
Yes,
If I wasn't busy, I might go do that, right? And then again, another big event at the Exchange, or continuing big event at the Exchange tonight till about 5 o'clock. So, Candace, I know you're a big play in this, but it takes a community to raise this kind of awareness. There are 2 military kids in my house, 2 military kids in Chief's house, and it is due to events like this and things like this that we get to go home and remind their kids just how valuable they are on the team and how important they are to us. Anything else you want to throw on purple up before I throw a couple more brags on you?
Purple up. No, I just want to thank the entire Edwards community, the schools, the child and youth programs. Everyone has done so many great little events and activities to show their support for our children and our youth. So, and thank you for being such a strong supporter of education. Thank you.
That was my pivot. So Candace's other full-time job is the school liaison officer. And we're in April, right? So what's happening right now is a lot of people that are getting assignments or orders or notifications of assignments to Edwards are looking for sponsors, or they're making initial contact. And if you're a sponsor or you're a unit with inbound folks, please get them the Edwards app, or point them out to the Edwards app. Point them to the Edwards portal, www.af.mil, which is probably where many of you got this stream. And then if you have questions about housing or schools or anything like that, you should be able to navigate through all those to find it. And if you can't, that's really good feedback for us to know. Oh my gosh, how do you get that to us? That's where the number on the bottom of the screen comes in, 707-412-8922. It's text-only enabled. There's no voice attached to it, but that's a number that we monitor 24/7, 365 as questions roll in there. But we don't monitor it, but it is active and live. And then when we look at them, that's where if there's a question that's of global importance to the base, we'll put something back there or put it on a website or the portal or on the app. If you want to know how to contact certain folks and are willing to leave your name and contact number, we can hand you off that way. You can also get that from the portal and from the app, like I said. So lots of stuff happening in schools at Edwards. Folks, I want to foot stomp one thing that I knew before today and another thing that I learned from one of our school board reps today at the meeting that Candace and Chief and I were on this morning. The thing that I knew is that if you haven't been at Edwards, or the person you talk to about Edwards hasn't been here in, the last 8 months, they actually don't know the schools that are on Edwards right now because they're literally brand new. We did the final ribbon cutting ceremony August of 2022 on the Desert Junior Senior High School. It's a $180 million complete reconstruction of the entire campus, TK through 12. Huge effort by the contractor, huge partnering effort between the installation and Muroc Joint Unified School District and the leadership team there, the 3 principals, the superintendent, Kevin Cortez, and his team making that happen. So it is a brand new physical place and space. If you haven't been around it or seen it and you have kids that are of those ages, I encourage you to get a tour. If you have an assignment or you had an assignment here previously, you no longer know the schools. They are completely physically transformed. And that brings new lifeblood and new excitement into parent-teacher organizations. Another thing that's going to help schools a lot is we now have federally mandated spouse reciprocity and licensure. So if you're an inbound family that has a teacher, I'm sure the school district would love to have you here. We'd love to have you live on base and your kids can be in the school that you teach at and the Defenders Protect. Right? So there's just a lot of amazing things happening there. And the one that was just crazy to me, I heard from a parent in our meeting this morning that Desert High School has 12 AP courses available next fall. 12. And the size of our community, the number of students enrolled, unprecedented. And large kudos to that outstanding school board member, parent, and neighbor of Chief and mine. And I won't call you out by name until I know you want me to do that, but you know who you are. And the bottom line is it's truly on an upward trend, but it's going to take continued involvement by people like Candace and by parents and in partnership with the schools and the administration and the teachers there. But it's great, and happy to do it, Candace. I'm on your team, not the other way around in that lane. So happy Friday, and purple up. Okay, rapid fire here. There's a campaign going on. Would you like to tell us about that, Senior Cummings?
Yes, sir, I would.
Awesome.
Chief, sir, thanks for having me. Yeah. We have kicked off the Air Force Assistance Fund campaign for this year. The overall goal for the wing is $28,000. That is what we're shooting for. You will see the thermometers up at each of the gates and one in the middle that'll show our progress. The campaign is going to continue on until 31 May. This campaign is specifically what they call a desk-to-desk campaign. So every military member should expect their unit rep to come to their desk and have a conversation with them one-on-one. This isn't a send an email out and that's 100% contact. This is, you got to talk to somebody and explain. Air Force Assistance Fund is very near and dear to my heart. I just finished 4 years as a first sergeant. So one of the 4 charities that this money will go to is the Air Force Aid Society. And for all the old heads out there, we all think of Falcon loans. That's what everybody thinks of when you go for helping out airmen that are in financial need. That money comes from the Air Force Aid Society. The money that we're donating towards this will come back to go towards the airmen for the base. The other 3 charities are for the retirees, their spouses. The Air Force Enlisted Village, the equivalent of the Air Force Officers Village, and the LeMay Foundation, which just kind of sends money out to people for retirees and retired spouses that are just in hard financial way. For the ways that you can give when your people come around to talk to you about it, they will have a QR code on the back of a pamphlet. You scan the QR code, it'll take you right to an e-giving site. It auto-populates your credit card information, and it'll take care of it that way. You also have the ability to do payroll deduction plan, where we can submit it and they can take it out of your paycheck over the next 12 months, just little bits at a time. Or you can give cash or check, and we'll take care of the paperwork and submit it all.
Pull up the, not that there's anything not awesome about showing you on camera there with that beautiful airplane behind you, but call up the poster again. So folks, if you're watching on a phone, you can screenshot this, zoom in. There's a QR code in the bottom left there. 3 different ways you can give. So desk to desk, you can fill out the form with the key worker, right?
Yep.
So Senior Cummings. The second way is, I didn't know this, but it's probably been around for a while, I just never paid attention. Text capital A, capital F, capital A, capital F, AFAF to the 50155 number.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
assuming that kicks back a URL that then you can link to donate.
Yes, sir.
And then the last one is, there's the QR code. And if you take a screenshot of that or zoom in on your phone or device, you should be able to get that and go right to that as well. And these posters are up and around the installation.
Yes, sir.
There are 2 major fundraising campaigns on every Air Force installation throughout the year. One is the Combined Federal Campaign. That's not this. This is the one, Combined Federal Campaign is everybody federal government-wide, worthy charities, no doubt, and I am a multi-year contributor personally to that. But AFAF is airmen donating to care for airmen and their families. And I guess I'd have to throw Guardians in there too, because they're all a big part of the airman family, right?
Yes,
so this is a way to do that. I have not personally received any of the loans, but I have worked with and been in units with folks, and they are a true lifesaver. I have spent a lot of time in the Florida Panhandle, around where the Air Force Enlisted Village is, and what a great community that our service keeps and revitalizes. And those are some of the most amazing folks when you get a chance to go down there and talk to them. They have big events down there between Eglin and Hurlburt every year as well, and a huge deal. So thanks for being on with us today and leading on this, and thanks for putting together the team that's going to go do that desk to desk. And folks, if you're interested in doing AFAF, hit the QR code and just do it now. It can't be simpler and it can't be easier. I think that's an achievable goal.
Yes.
A little bit of a stretch like any real goal, but it is a fantastic thing. Chief, any Any personal experiences or examples with the FAF?
Not experiences, I guess, but I will say that the part where he talked about the donation being something that you can do a payroll deduction on, that's something that I've done throughout my career, and picking specific charities to make sure that I'm contributing. And then here recently, when you go to the Shop Ed or the BX, it's part of the payment when you are ringing out, you have the option to donate there as well. So I've been doing that in lieu of the payroll deduction, but it is pretty cool that there's various opportunities and ways to do that and give back.
One of the things I find interesting is that, I know Chief's only been around a couple years in service, but in my 20 and plenty, right? I remember when it was all paper all the time, and it was 100% face-to-face contact, and it's payroll deduction, and it was 4 months in advance, and big lift for the team to do both CFC, but especially AFAF. And then we rapidly ran to all digital. Yes. And that's where we ended up in the era of email all, boom, contact made. And it just didn't light off at most places without that human contact.
Yes, sir.
And then we go into the pandemic, and now we're out of the pandemic where we're realizing or remembering or relearning the value of the human contact and the interpersonal interaction. So this is a perfectly timed phase, perfectly timed campaign change to combine the two, which we're doing in all kinds of ways that we learned from the pandemic for better effect. So good on you for being on that leading edge. And thanks for doing that additional work on behalf of Airmen and Guardians and their families worldwide.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you. Have a great Friday.
You too, sir.
All right. While he's getting off stage, hold on. Oh, there you go. There you go. Call up the slide for Summer Bash. Thanks, Senior Cummings. Summer Bash, right? So if you have not been to Summer Bash, it is a big event at Wings Field. Chief, I say Wings Field, a lot of people go, where's that?
Well, it's near the bowling alley
to start. It is, yeah. It's in 93523, the best zip code in the Air Force. So it's if ever, maybe people have noticed it, but we actually used to have a restaurant there, the train car, the rail car.
Yes.
It's across the street from that, kind of behind the bowling alley. There's some baseball diamonds, soccer fields. It's an old parade ground. I've actually never seen a military parade on that field, but I believe that's what it was. But that's where it happens. There'll be, there's usually food booths. Sounds like they've looks like they've got some bouncy houses. There'll be a stage with some entertainment. And then sometime after it's plenty dark, lots of big bangs celebrating our nation's birthday in the form of fireworks. I don't think they're going to be midnight fireworks, so we could call it the 4th of July, but it'll certainly be late enough that we get to see their glorious thing and enjoy it all. So Summer Bash, July 3rd, that's a Monday, and it is also one of our 12 family days this year. So while you are enjoying Summer Bash and July 3rd, the family day in that long 4-day weekend, the 1st through the 4th, enjoy it and really take care of it. But when you're at Summer Bash and you see the FSS team that's probably got some of their family volunteering as well, make sure you thank them for enabling Summer Bash on that long weekend so the rest of us can maximize the enjoyment there. And I'm super excited about that. I really enjoy those every year. All right. One more topic before we get to questions. So if you have questions, comments, feedback, anything else you want to get to us or from us, make sure you text it in to the number 707-412-8922. And while you are texting in or typing in frantically your question, our next topic. So let's see. The poppies are out. The sky's clear. There's a little wind. Must be spring in the Aerospace Valley.
Correct, sir.
Yes. All right. Little spring cleanup action going on here. So we have 3 fine professionals from the civil engineering group.
Correct.
We'll flip over to them. I'll let you, whatever order you want, go down. Who are you? Where do you work? And then we'll get into what you are encouraging us to clean up this spring. So after you.
So I'll go first. My name is Lee Manning. I work for a civil engineering group out of Service Contracts area. So basically I'm a core that manages several contracts that we have around base for services that we do. So I've been here at Edwards now for, 23 years. All of that, starting off in CE and staying with CE throughout all that. So it's been a great career for me, great opportunity. So here today, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm here to talk about the Adopt-A-Lot program. So we are very fortunate to have a program here on base that maintains all the unimproved areas. around to pick up trash and all kinds of debris and everything, and it gives everybody in organizations a chance to volunteer. They reach out, they would go ahead and select an area. We have a map that of all the identified areas here on base. Currently we have 47 areas. Of all those, only 4 are available right now. But if there is any areas that have, like, somebody sees that, hey, this area needs some love and they feel like that's something that needs to be done, go ahead and contact me. Just at the mic, but you can contact me, and we can go out and we can take a look, and if this is something that we can do, it's in a safe area, we'll go ahead and do that. So
how would they contact you?
So they would just contact me by cell phone or by email. I believe it's up on the screen. There's also in the app, there's my number on there as well, and my email. And then several areas, there's my stuff as well. So
yeah. So civil engineering group. So there it is. There's Mr. Lee Manning. If you're on Nipper, we could probably reach out to you via email there. Right? Are you a Lee.Manning7 or are you?
I'm just a Lee.Manning.
You're the Lee.Manning. How cool is that?
I am the original Lee.Manning.
It's nice not to have a number, isn't it?
No number after it all. So.
Yeah, and the adopt a lot signs that get posted out there, you do that as well.
Yeah,
right?
So that was another thing. So when we go ahead and identify a lot for everyone, that's one of the things to mention, like, what do you want on your sign? So after we get that and the process goes through, we fill out a volunteer or adopt a lot agreement. So it takes a 2-year commitment to do it. You sign in for that, and then you let me know what you'd like for your verbiage. So after that, we go ahead and put that with the sign shop. They go out and put up your signs for you, and then it's your area. So it's like fostering pride in what you're doing. You get to see it, and then go out there and keep it clean. And so all we ask for the program is just to maybe do a drive-by like once a month to see how your areas are doing, and then twice a year organize something and get everybody out there and clean stuff up. Keep Edwards clean.
Yeah.
I love it.
So it's amazing.
So there. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say the 8-letter F word or the 4-letter W word on the broadcast here, right? But folks, if you're looking for a time of year to do, so first of all, if you drive around base and you go, that'd be a lot that I'd like to help contribute to, and you see the Adopt a Lot sign. One of the reasons that we put the who's sponsored by is that you can probably find that private org. Yeah. Right? Or find that squadron or that unit and go, hey, I would like to participate with you the next time you do an event. So it's a positive, synergistic way for us to build some visible pride there. I know a guy that talks about pulling weeds and picking up trash occasionally. This is a formalized way to actually pick up a couple pieces of trash with some of your best friends, build some good camaraderie, some esprit de corps, and some pride in the local area, in the local areas. So this is the right time to go out and do it. If I was a project owner of an Adopt a Lot, I'd wait for a couple hard freezes in the fall, right? And I'd get out before it was too warm too soon because of the critters. But most of our places around here, they CE also has environmental, right? So wildlife management, environmental, right? Contacts, so they can give you haven't had any sightings there. Oh, by the way, there might be some tortoises over there, so watch out for those. I would love to see a tortoise in the wild. 20 years I've been at Edwards. I haven't seen one in the wild. Not in the wild, nope.
I've seen 2.
My boss was here when his dad was on active duty, and he said when he was a kid in high school here, they were everywhere. And so environment's changed a little bit, and there's still some that are in people's backyards.
I was gonna say they might be why he's fostering Bert.
Yeah, maybe he's got a soft spot in his heart for the tortoise named Bert, which, oh, by the way, I guess is the same age. And we won't say that, but it's pretty neat. Yeah. But lots of things to do. Our natural environment around here is just truly amazing. A lot of people think desert, but if you actually get out in it, it's just an amazing flora and fauna. I was literally at physical therapy this morning in their new building and on a treadmill. And that wall right there looking south is a wall of glass, and it's got etched on it the runways from the lake bed. On the horizon are still snow-capped mountains that's the Los Angeles National Forest by Wrightwood. And between that horizon and the glass is this gorgeous kind of upslope, still got the yellow on it, some desert shade brush, and one of my neighbor coyotes just goes wandering through the thing, and he was gorgeous, right? Big, fluffy coat, very proud animal. Wow. Yeah, it was spectacular. And that's the kind of experience that you and your crowd can have doing the Adopt a Lot stuff, and make sure you're picking up things that are just, unsightly, but also dangerous to some of the wild animals and the lots that are upwind of the flight line. also a big safety of flight issue. The more we can keep off the flight line and off the ramps, the better as well. So Adopt-A-Lot's huge, can be a good morale and esprit de corps event for a unit as well. So thanks for doing that.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Any other thoughts?
Well, I was just going to say, so we mentioned all the wildlife and all that. So part of when I send notices out, just like I did for next week, I did get some stuff from environmental. So I sent out a bunch of brochures on how to deal with wildlife. When you're out there, what to do with desert tortoises if you actually come across it. Maybe some cultural items if you happen to see it, or hazmat, because if there is some hazmat out there and it's open and it's leaking or it's like contaminated soil, then you definitely want to reach out to the hazmat program manager, leave it where it's at, and then reach out to them. They'll go ahead and get a team out there and get it removed. If it's concealed or something, then there's several places around base, and I think they're going to speak to that where you can actually drop it off. But I just have to say that I'm very excited that we get this opportunity to do this. I mean, we get with everybody in the group. I do send out some safety talking points to make sure that everybody understands what they're getting into when they get out there, and then understand that, yeah, there's wildlife. There's all these things out there they can encounter. So just be safe when you're out there, and if you ever have any questions or need help with your program, picking up trash, picking up the bags and bringing them to the landfill, just go ahead and reach out to me, and I'll be glad to help.
Yeah, that was
do
a great.
Whatever I need to.
That was a great plug for the hazmat shop. Also something else CE does. We don't have them here unless one of you two want to talk about hazmat, but you're not here for that. That's you? Are you hazmat? Yeah. that was a good, not me.
Environmental.
Pick her. All right. So yeah, CE also does that for us. So if you're doing spring cleaning, not at a lot, but if you're doing spring cleaning in your garage or someplace else, and what do I do with this? All this leftover paint or these solvents or these cleaners, please do not throw them in the trash can or the recycling. Those end up in the landfill on base, and that has some not awesome effects on the environment. But we do have a hazardous waste mart that's on base. So if you need to know where that is and when you can turn in stuff, contact Civil Engineering Group and ask about the turn-in. And this is a good time of year to do that.
So I could speak a little bit to the hazmat.
Please.
I know that if you're in housing area, behind Corvius over there, you can, with May Road, you can turn in your hazmat there. If you're a resident here on base, if you're a facility manager and you've checked something out from CE, bring it back to 3513 to our hazmat building. And if you do find any other hazmat around base,
can you call up the hazmat slide? We'll
call up. You can call the hazmat program manager, and that number is 71885. So 661-277-1885. I'll also post that in the Adopt-A-Lot in case anybody finds any hazardous materials while they're out there picking up, and they can call that number.
Yeah. So Lee, so we got the slide up here. Here's. I'll let you talk people onto those two charts. So the picture on the bottom right there is the hazmat location, and then the one up in the upper left is out at the landfill where we do a lot of recycling as well. So anything you want to pile on there while we get that slide up, and remind folks this is where you take your stuff. But when in doubt, call and ask CE.
Correct. Yeah. So the 3513 is at off of Trans there, but that is where the facility manager, when they check out different things, or if they find stuff at their buildings, they can bring it back to 3513. Aerosol cans, light bulbs, used paint, stuff like that. We'd rather have it turned in than out there in the environment. And then 7990 is where the recycle area is. You can, anybody on base can actually go out there and use recycle or refuse dump off trash.
And for those of you that, so I find it funny how CE talks in building numbers. I can't do that translation. So if you're driving, if you know where the horse stables are, even if you don't have horses, lots of people know where that is. It's the road that goes north-northwest by the horse stables, and you just continue to drive out there, and it's on the right. And I think our next slide gives their hours. I don't know if that's a no.
So this one.
Oh, there you go. Go ahead.
I was going to say the slide we were just on is for those that live on base housing, for
Great.
them to take their hazmat. So the first one, base residents should take household hazardous waste or universal electronic to the May Road Maintenance Yard, which is building 6692 on the left. And on the right is where you have your used oil or paint, things of that nature. And that's for base residents only.
At the Auto Hobby Shop near the dorms, right? Or the Oasis Community Centers where the Auto Hobby Shop is. When I have the minutes, I do change my own oil, and Auto Hobby Shop is a great place to to drop the filter in the used oil and other things like that are petroleum based. The May Road maintenance facility is what I would know as the old housing office, but it's been the old housing office for a long enough time now that most people don't know that. That is not the Desert Sky Community Center. It's on Forbes Road, as you are if you were going from the fire station in the housing area towards the school. It'll be on your right side there, and that's where that office is, and then with the maintenance facility behind it. In that building is your resident advocate, Miss Christina Roach. That's where her office is. So you can go stop by, say hi to her. She's fantastic, and ask to talk to maintenance and where do I leave my stuff. Cool. Thanks for that save.
I tried.
What else?
Oh, well, if we want to pull up the next slide to talk a little bit about recycling,
Love
that's what
to.
I was going to lead into. So I'll start with this. This is the information for the landfill, which can be used by base residents, any employee here on base. You're allowed to use the landfill. So there's the address rather than the building number. Phone number, hours of operation, so please save it if you need. There's a little list at the bottom, just the basics of what you can recycle. But if you're ever unsure, just contact the base landfill or your local refuse provider if you're doing it off base to double check before you bring it in to make sure you don't have hazardous materials in the mix.
So I learned something every day. Like I learned we have 12 AP courses at high school, and I didn't know that you guys accept toner cartridges there. All that other things were not surprising, but that's pretty awesome. So and the one thing that my family does rather regularly is we get our non-voluntary California taxes back. California CRV, right? So they'll take it if large amounts by weight and return the CRV, and if it's a smaller amount, they actually count the cans or count the bottles.
Yes.
And it's a good way to reinforce or reemphasize that reduce, reuse, recycle is very real, especially here on the base and in the state of California. So good stuff, and I appreciate what that team does too. What else would you like to throw us? Or any other surprise slides?
No surprise slides, but just a little bit about, in the civil engineering group and the squadron that we're in for CE. As a base, we like to contribute, Earth Day, we've got spring cleanup coming next week. So just for service contracts a little bit, we've tried to turn a majority of our landscape around here to Xeriscape and Xeriscape to save water. For facility managers, we have recycling containers. Should be at every facility, but if you don't have one, please talk to your facility manager. They can reach out to us in service contracts and we can get one placed there. And just as an individual, there's some small things you can do that lead to big changes. So getting rid of your plastic, your paper plates, upgrade to a fancy Yeti, a Hydro Flask. I saw them at the BX, much cheaper than Dick's Sporting Goods. Get some plastic plates and cups for your office instead of reusing those. If you can't do that, just recycle. But spring cleanup, facility managers should have already, and if not, I'm sure they will be sending out an email for next week, things you can do to contribute at your local facility where you work. A spring cleanup around your office, your workspace, around the building, so a whole team effort.
It is a team effort. I know it. It's at the risk of re-emphasizing an overused phrase, but the think global, act local phrase really works, and it's a relatively straightforward thing. I'm a math geek, and I remember a couple times doing if I were to do one decision different a day on throwing something away versus recycling it, and if it was a completely recycled thing, how many of those widgets would I save in a year and in my lifetime? And then you multiply that by 330 million Americans. And it's a real impact in our nation, and you multiply that by 7 billion because we all ride on the same spaceship Earth, right? It's a big deal, and so this is a good time to reemphasize that, and enabling for folks like you is huge. So he told us 20-something years. I'm not going to ask how long, but are you local too? Or where are you?
I am local, so I have been in service contracts since November, so I'm pretty new to base, but
Sweet.
I grew up out here.
Welcome to the team.
Thank you so much. It's a very big base, so I am
Second
learning.
biggest in the Air Force, they tell me.
Yeah, I am learning that, definitely. I'm like, I need my maps anytime I go somewhere. But the tortoises you're talking about, you haven't seen them. I've lived out here in the Antelope Valley my whole life, and I still haven't seen one. But raccoons and possums, they're in our neighborhood.
Yeah. We have plenty of creatures here. It's good, and I'm not kidding. There's I don't remember how many the number is, but maybe Lee. I think there's a handful of tortoises that were rescued as small or something. They've been injured and they were pseudo domesticated, and now they can't be released back into the wild. So there are houses on base where you volunteer to foster a desert tortoise.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, one of the previous, he's Colonel Select now, Greg Hammond, was the 812 CES commander when I was here a couple years ago, and they had a tortoise in their backyard, and that's how I found out about it. And the tortoise, you remember Greg?
I
Right?
do,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And he said it would actually come out, and I don't know how a tortoise can play, but he said the tortoise would play with his kids, but anytime he went in the backyard, it hightailed for its hole, and it would come out even for food. But
He's pretty tall, so maybe
Greg's a big dude.
maybe the tortoise was like,
Greg,
no,
Greg
no,
is a
thank
big
you.
dude. But no joke, my next door neighbor, our boss, has his name is Bert. He's a rescued tortoise in the backyard.
You know, he's tall as well. I wonder if Bert runs when he comes out.
Maybe he only likes Erica. We'll have to ask when he comes out of hibernation, which should be any time now. So maybe we'll have a big Bert returns party.
Right.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
And we're blessed with one more guest here. So tell us about yourself and what do you want to make us smarter on?
So my name is Misty Hailstone. I am the government wildlife biologist here on Edwards Air Force Base. I work for environmental management. So those adoption tortoises are ours.
Oh, okay. So you know
There's
more.
8 of them. They came to us.
Is Bert 52? Is he 50 something?
You know, I don't know the specifics on that exact tortoise, but a lot of them are probably somewhere between 40 and 60 that are in our program. Most of them were actually collected when they were clearing out areas over by X33 when they were building that new test stand out at the AFRL. So that's where most of them came from. And then we have a few others for various reasons. But you can, if you're interested in adopting a tortoise, you know, we have people that PCS on, PCS off, and so we're always looking for people to put on the waiting list for when the next group of people leave, and so they have a place to go. So
Nice.
you can find our contact information for environmental management on the app. And but I'm here to talk a little bit, continuing the conversation from last week about some of the outdoor spaces and the things that are going on the base. So environmental management helps manage several of our outdoor recreation areas, including the ORV areas, the hunting areas, Branch Pond, as well as Paiute Ponds, which is a wetlands in the southwest corner of the base that most people never go to and don't know exists. I encourage it. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And to advertise a little bit about our website that you can go and get more information. So if you haven't seen it yet, it again is located on the app, the one app, but it's edwards.isportsman.net. And there you can get maps for the ORV areas if you're ever unsure about where the trails are, where the entrances are. We also have maps to the fishing pond and Paiute of the trails that are there. It also has resources as far as the rules of use of those areas, because we do want to keep everybody safe. And we also want to keep the wildlands safe as well. So what's really great about some of our outdoor areas in Edwards, because we're so big, it's a lot of open space, and so you have a lot of opportunity to actually interact with wild creatures. And for that, we also like to caution people, because it is spring, things are waking up, they're starting to go out on the trails, you're going to see them wandering around. We highly encourage people to appreciate the wildlife, but we again want to keep everybody safe and the wildlife safe as well. So we do encourage everybody to kind of keep their distance. If they see them, let animals do what they do to keep yourself safe. You also want to be a little cautious if you're going out on the trails. We always encourage people to really kind of watch where they're going. If you're going into areas that have a little bit denser brush, you might want to take a walking stick with you, especially with your dogs. You want to keep them on leash because they'll get curious and they'll want to go look at stuff under bushes, and we want to make sure that they're not nosing a Mojave green or something like that. Usually, especially as things are starting to warm up, reptiles like snakes will lay out on the trails. So if your goal is to avoid snakes, you want to go in the hottest part of the day, because that's when they don't like to be out and about, but neither do we. So if you do go out in the morning, you just want to be cautious and look out. Tortoises as well. So we I've seen lots of tortoises, it's my job, but they do cross the roads a lot here on the base. So you might have noticed the big yellow signs near some major roads where we have had quite a few tortoises crossing in the past. So that's a kind of a heads up to keep your eye open. They look like moving rocks, and sometimes they're a little slow, so you don't even know that it's an animal and not a rock. So just be careful. And if you do happen to see one crossing the road, we do ask that if it's safe to do so, that people do pick them up and take them off the road so they don't get run over. If you're near a situation where it's unsafe to do so, then you could always call someone, park where it's safe, and then give us a call, and we'll make sure that someone can get out there and help out.
The signs are out. Like I said, I've heard all the stories, never seen one in the wild, but now that we're talking about it, it'll happen sometime this weekend for me, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So all kinds of stuff I'd love to talk to you about wildlife on the base, flora, fauna, and the animals. I was talking to, it was actually, I'll let you talk about who you hosted this week before we get off stage today. And I was talking to that member and his wife about all the animals that were here, and they were like, ooh, bobcats and ooh, coyotes. And I'm like, I don't want to corner a bobcat, but I'm not really scared. And the coyotes are much more skittish of me than I am worried about a coyote. But I'm not super interested in crossing Mojave Green. And he was like, what? So this is about the time of year where they're starting to come out of hibernation.
Yeah, as the temperatures warm up, so reptiles, they can't control their own body temperatures, so in order for their muscles to really get moving, it has to be a certain temperature. In the spring, as you're starting to get these warmer and warmer days, they come up seeking food and new places to go.
Yeah. When we got a question, actually it was one of our guests last week. Mm-hmm. She started talking about wildflowers and all this other stuff and fishing. Any idea when we might stock the ponds?
Yeah,
this
so
year?
we stock the ponds once to twice a year, depending on what's available from the local fisheries, because we do bring them in. Obviously, we don't really breed them in there, though they do reproduce in our pond, which is great. And we have some improvements. Hopefully, will encourage that more. But
the outdoor rec person was like super fired up about the future of Branch Park.
Yeah, we're as far as the pond and the surrounding areas around the ponds, not so much the park because we know FSS controls that. But the pond itself, we're actually in the process of updating the management plan, and there's a lot of improvements that have been suggested. So that's under review, and hopefully will get implemented here pretty soon. But as far as your original question, I think the next scheduled one is going to be in July. I think that's when our local fisheries said that they'd have stuff ready for us.
Sweet.
Yeah, and they're planning to put in some red ear sunfish, bass, and carp, I believe.
Outstanding. Plenty of good fish in there.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm going to ask you first, and then I'm going to ask these two the same question because we got asked, I think it was last week, what's your favorite place on the base?
What is my favorite
Your favorite place on the installation, on the base?
That is a good question.
Too many to think, right?
My favorite place on base, which most people don't get to go to, but I've been privileged to go, is on the Pyra, on the East Range. Because it's super protected and not a lot of people go out there, they have some of the most highest quality habitat that I've seen in the surrounding area ever. It's also where we have our highest desert tortoise densities. Cool. And so you always see really great wildlife out there.
Outstanding. Nice. How about you two? Favorite place on the base?
So
and I would say so far, right?
So far, I'm still very directionally challenged on where things are located here. I'm so turned around. I've only been to Branch Park by happenstance once or twice, so that looks pretty nice. I'd like to go there hearing about what's happening, but currently it would be Starbucks.
Yeah, so that makes sense, right? Nothing wrong with that. Join us for Summer Bash. That'll be one of your new favorite places on July 3rd. Fantastic. How about you, Lee?
So she kind of
one and only one.
She stole yours?
A little bit with Starbucks, yes, because I do love coffee.
I agree.
But I think probably back in the day it was Branch Park because it was out by itself and it was really, really nice. It was just real pleasant. I think I do like Orland Park over there too, and there's a favorite bench over there, so those are kind of my favorite spots to just get out and relax, get away from the office. So.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, you three.
Oh, yeah.
Always
Thank you.
learn a ton and all these, and I'm very proud to share this place with you. Folks, if you have a question or a comment for our CE team or just want to learn more about it, and you can't find exactly where to find it either on the app or on the portal or anything else, text in your name and contact number to 707-412-8922, and we'll get back to you and get you in contact. Whether you want to adopt a lot, whether you want to do recycling, whether you want to do hazmat turn-in, or whether you want to go find some desert tortoises and make sure they don't get run over because people think they're rocks, right? It's good stuff. All right. I told you we'd be hard-pressed to stay inside 60. We're going to be real close to that. Dee, I heard a rumor you might have hosted somebody here this week.
I did, sir. So I had the pleasure of hosting Chief Stoltzfus, our new command chief, coming in after me, and his wife Jess. They were here for the week, learning a few things about Edwards and getting acquainted with some of the folks. If you did not have a chance to meet them, they'll be back shortly, and they're real excited about the assignment, so it should be good.
Yeah, so it's very appropriate that we talk about Chief Stoltz with these three on here because he's a CE guy, right? So he's like, yeah, I got to go back to this gigantic base and all this stuff, and he was super fired up. I suspect he'll be someone that the fire dogs are like, really, sir, can't you keep the chief away from us for, or the EOD teams? But yeah, he's excited. He's in Incirlik right now, finishing out his first command chief job. He's going to be back here for actually, late May, early June for another handoff session with Chief Ward Swanigan. Jess will be in here a little bit later that month, and then he'll rejoin as soon as he can. So yeah, super excited. Stoltz, thanks for visiting. Look forward to having you back.
Yes.
Any other thoughts, Dee, before we wrap it up for the week?
Just another congratulations to Chief Rocheleau on his retirement from active duty, 24 years. That's awesome. I look forward to celebrating with him later, and then just happy Friday. Have a good weekend to everybody.
Yeah, Chief Roach, you are desperately going to be missed here, my friend. It is inspiring, even at my age and stage in career, listening to folks like Chief talk. And I thought your analogy about him as the dude at the old circus fairs, the ding, doing the sledgehammer and ding the bell. That is, if you don't know Roach, that's Roach, and he even looks the part, which is the funny thing. And I'll tell you, when you see him, I guess now Mr. Roach, some of those pictures he had indicate to me he's going to grow one heck of a retirement beard, right? I think it's only a matter of time. But my warning to you about Chief Roach: super, super, super nice guy. Be prepared to have your hand crushed. He has the strongest handshake, and he can't temper it. It's all or nothing. So he only doubled me over, I think, once.
Yes.
But he's a great dude. Roach, fair skies, tailwinds. I know you're not going to go far, and you're welcome to come back here and visit us at the Center of the Aerospace Testing Universe anytime you want. We may even he'll probably be a little bit more than the gym, and maybe out do some stuff outdoors as well with his girls, as he said. So I don't know how to top that. So I'll wish everybody a happy Friday. Please enjoy the spring out here. It is fantastic weather right now. There's no day of the year here where it's bad for the entire day, and that is no less true right now than at any other time. Mornings are great. Evenings are awesome. If there's no four-letter W word, the whole day is fantastic too.
Sure.
The rainy season appears to be over. The wildlife's going to start showing up in droves. Great time to be out walking, running, hiking, mountain bike trails, and you name it. So enjoy it. Have a great weekend. Next Friday, same time, same place, 1500 Pacific at this channel. I'll be off in DC, so it'll be a couple stunt doubles there, and I'll be back with you most likely on the first Friday of May, which is May the 5th. So Cinco de Mayo right after May the 4th. Next time I'll be on the broadcast. Until then, everybody please be safe. Enjoy yourself. So long for now from the Center of the Aerospace Testing Universe.